Okay, I want to talk real quick about cutting in to existing cast iron pipe and installing a plastic fitting so you can take off and run and continue to plumb with plastic. We looked at this situation over here specifically for this project and then getting to the tub, but the most important fitting that you need to understand for this process is these Fernco or hubless sort of boots, rubber boot connectors. And a lot of these are available at the box store, but as you get away from a typical piece of rubber with band clamps on it and you get into something more specific, as we'll see in a second, you may have to go to more of a plumbing supply. So in this application, because these fit over the outer diameter of runs of pipe, they don't fit over the bell end of a fitting or anything like that, anything larger. So you need to be sure of the size that you're operating on. And if you're dealing with cast iron, its wall thickness is a little thicker, but close enough to the thickness of PVC pipe. And pipe is sort of noted by the interior diameter. So 3-inch cast iron and 3-inch PVC is 3-inch inside, and then the wall thickness is about the same. So a hubless 3-inch, you can see it's smooth inside, will go from one to the other with a little bit of making the transition up in the fact that it's flexible. And I like to apply silicone, 100% silicone or silicone 1. I got a little bit here in a little toothpaste tube instead of a caulk tube because we're not going to use a lot here. So this is right in the glue section of Depot and Lowe's in this kind of a tube rather than a caulk gun tube, but you can use that stuff too. And I would just basically lube up the insides of both of these and get everything positioned and then tighten the band clamps down and let that silicone set up. One of the things that you want to make sure when you set these up is that your band clamp controls, what you're going to run with a screwdriver or a nut driver, socket driver tip, are pointed both at you so that when you get everything all said and done, they're not pointed upside down or like this, and then you can't get there with the tool. But I also like to think about the guy ahead of me or down the road who's going to uncover this and try to operate on it. I try to point these in a direction that he'll be able to, whomever they may be, will be able to get a hold of it and control it or undo it. That being said, once again, they go over the outside of diameter of pipe, so I like to add, so you're looking at what the overall length of the fitting is, and this is about 4 inches, so you're looking for 2 inches of cast iron and 2 inches of plastic to be inside. So I wanted to end up with 2 inches of plastic sticking out of the fitting, so I figured how much engagement there is, which is about 1.5 inches on this size, and then obviously 2 inches more is 3.5 inches. Made some 3.5-inch pieces, primed and glued them into the fitting, and I've primed all the other orifices on the fitting for when it comes time to link up to the toilet. But then I get a sense of the overall length that this is now, and I give myself a little bit more, and that's what I lay out on the pipe to remove. So you can see my pencil lines down here ultimately work out, despite the fact that there's lens distortion, to be a little bit larger overall than that. And so the operation is going to be cutting this off with a carbide Sawzall blade, just like you'd cut a limb off of a tree. You don't want to hit rocks and stones and any dirt, because dirt is just very small rocks and stones. They're all going to be harder than the carbide for the most part, and so you want to get that material away, but you can cut the cast iron off. So I'm going to dig this out, make the cut. Then I'm going to cover these. I'm going to clean the ends of that off, wipe it off, and let it dry. And then I'm going to fill this up with silicone. I'm going to put this on and slide it that way, clear of the joint. Same with this, clear of the joint. Once again, uniform location for all of my band clamp controls. Then we'll set this in here and we'll go and we'll tighten that stuff up, and then we can start making our last piece over to the toilet here. And as far as up in this, just because we're right here, I also had to lay out where up and down this needed to be, and that was done by using a 45-degree angle layout square, like a combination square or a speed square, off of the side of this piece of pipe, and then taking a straight edge over and waiting until the straight edge came right through the center marks of my toilet flange. And at 45, because that's what this leg comes off, somewhere here, you bring that 45 down to a certain position, and that comes straight through the center line here. And then, based on that, you can get a sense of where the center line of this needs to be and place it on the pipe, and then we get to here. And that's how we make that happen. Now, the other type of hubless fitting that you can get is for different sizes or different types of pipe when they're both the same size but they're different materials. So over here, we're going to cut out copper, and we're going to come back and do that in another video.